Hello, I'm Joel Evans from the Zaub School of Business, and I'm going to be talking today about, are you secure with your digital media? Cybersecurity is a must. Because as a rule, people do a relatively poor job with understanding how important cybersecurity is and protecting themselves. So the first thing I'm going to do is probably try to scare you a little bit and talk about why being cybersecurity conscious is so important. The first thing is that there are hackers around the world who are incredibly sophisticated, and they're involved with break-ins of accounts for all types of connected media. And I'm going to say this more than once, all types. Everything that you have that is connected, whether it is a cell phone, a computer, a tablet, your email, PC, anything can be hacked into and is relatively insecure, no matter how insecure we think it is. As of now, there have been billions of hacks worldwide. There's one Russian hacker group that actually got into 1.2 billion accounts worldwide. So this is really big. Probably every one of us has been hacked in one way or another from something that we do, whether it's an app that we have or on a PC or in Starbucks and we think everything is great and we're on their Wi-Fi system, which is totally insecure. If we've read the media, we know that a number of prominent firms have been hacked. Some examples would be Home Depot, Target, and the most recent one that was announced was JP Morgan, where they had 76 million accounts that were hacked into. We know that organizations have been hacked into, government, universities, and on a more light note, even celebrity photos have been hacked into, because as we know a couple of weeks ago, that through the Apple Cloud, a number of celebrities had photos that they didn't want released. So it's a big issue. It involves everything that we do. The second point I'd like to make is that there is no such thing as being totally secure. You know, we kind of are under this myth that if we're, if we've used the password, or we've encrypted things, that we're always safe. No, we're safer, but we're not always safe. So that there's a risk of identity theft. Somebody could become us, an invasion of privacy where they can get into our personal stuff, and they could be stealing documents and other material. As I said before, every connected device is at risk. Behavior can be tracked through any connected device via GPS and cookies. Every app that you use places what we would call a cookie on your computer or on your phone or on your tablet that allows somebody to get information about you. And our credit rating and even our job status could be compromised because of hacking, because somebody could become us. Somebody could use our credit information. And the last scary point is that our reputation can be ruined in an instant by somebody doing something without our knowledge that puts us into a bad situation. So having tried to be scary and to get you to take this problem seriously, I have a number of suggestions that I would like to make on how to be more cyber secure. Not perfectly cyber secure, because none of us can be, but more cyber secure. So the first thing is to take the problem seriously. Don't be cavalier and passive. Don't just look at this video, go, ha ha ha, it's not me. It's you, it's all of us. Second thing, be smart in your behavior. Be careful with the text that you write. Understand that you want to be careful with your profanity or calling somebody out, because the text could be hacked into. The same thing goes with videos, photos, the location that you're at in terms of being able to track through GPS. This next one, I do a lot of talking on cybersecurity, and I'm always amazed at this. The tip is use virus protection on every connected device you own. So when I would give a talk, I would always ask the audience, how many of you have a smartphone? I know the answer is everybody. Everybody raises their hand. Then the next question would be, how many of you have virus protection on your phone? And I get maybe 3 hands up out of 100. And then I'd say to them, do you have AT&T or Verizon as your service provider? Knowing that most of the people in our area, that's their service provider. Yes. Did you know that they have free software, that free virus protection software that you could use, and that you could set it up as I do, so that every morning when I first turn on my phone, it does a scan for viruses? Cell phones are really not secure, not nearly as secure as we think. Please use virus protection on your phone, your PC, your tablet, everything that's connected. Next, read the privacy policy before you enter personal data at a website. Know whether the company might be reselling it. Know how they secure it. Always give the least amount of information possible. And if you're not familiar with URLs, if you're at a website, never enter personal information unless it starts with HTTPS. That S really designates whether the site is secure. Don't give personal information if it's just HTTP. It's open to everybody. Next, protect your privacy. Never assume that social media will protect your information. A hacker's dream is getting into Facebook accounts. So if you set something up on Facebook, give the least amount of information you can, because you can choose not to give it, and make sure that your settings are to friends only at the most. Don't make it that the settings are available to everybody. People don't need to know your full date of birth. That's an important security piece of information. Next, don't keep signing up for so many apps. Every one of them has some kind of information stored on your device. Knock out the ones you don't use. So this is something else I ask when I get into an audience. I start out with, how many people have 5 apps, 10 apps, 100 apps on their phone? And when I get to the 100, and I've still got the 3 or 5 people who are have that number of apps, I say to them, do you use all of those apps? How many do you use? Well, we really use 5 or 10. Then why are the other 90 on there which have cookies and are monitoring you? So clean out your apps that you're not using. Next, and very important, turn off your smartphone's GPS app as your default. Most smartphones, the default is that the GPS tracker is always on. It's great when you're using Google Maps and want to find out where you are, but you don't really, as a rule, want to have people know where you are all the time, because there are a lot of stalkers out there. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. So please go into your settings and set your GPS default as off. Next, use a password with every device. I would say of the people that I ask, half of them have entered a password on their phone. Really? You're entering a 4-digit number. You can set it for something like 15 minutes of sleep, and you enter that 4-digit number. Experts will tell you that it is thousands of times harder to break into a phone that's got a password on it than one that's just there, where somebody has access to all of your information. So what makes a good password? Don't just use your name or combination of it. The number one password, I believe, is the word password. People think they're so clever. Don't use your name. So I'm Joel R. Evans. I shouldn't be using a password that's got Joel R. Evans in it. Use at least 6 to 8 characters. None of these 4-character things. Where possible, and unfortunately some sites don't let you do this, use at least 1 letter, 1 number, 1 symbol, and the thing that will protect you the most is if you're using letters, and I'll just use Joel as an example, even though I wouldn't use that as a password. Capital J, lowercase o, lowercase e, capital L makes it millions of times harder to break into the password by alternating the upper and lower case, because that just has 26 vowels, 26 letters times upper and lower case. You can imagine the possibilities. Don't use one password for all accounts. I know some of us who are getting older don't remember everything all the time, so the easiest thing to do is to have a password and have it for everything. The problem with that is that if we're hacked with everything. So what I do is I have an encrypted file on my personal computer only that I then print out, hide, and I have all of my probably 50 or 60 passwords on it, okay? And then the last thing is with connected media, you are your best friend, right? You are the one that has to protect yourself. Don't be your worst enemy. Thank you.